It's just a fanfiction, a story written by me, a writer. This has nothing to do with mentioned ideal BTS members, real life event behavior characteristics. Pics, sound, videos which are used in this video are not mine. Credit goes to rightful owners. But the editing and the storyline is mine. Do not copy it. This story is for mature audience. There would be mention of sensitive topics, so read at your own risk. You have been warned beforehand. Sitting on his sofa, a man in his early 30s named Taehyung was sipping on his coffee. Through the corner of his eyes, he noticed his wife Won was standing in the balcony while glancing at the city blankly. He placed his coffee cup on the center table and let out a sigh. From past weeks, he had been seeing his wife this behavior. She seemed to always be lost in somewhere. He wasn't familiar with her this behavior. She seemed so preoccupied, distant. In their almost 4 years of marriage, she never behaved like this before. Then what happened now? He asked her few times before that what's bothering her. Every time she would start answering with taking his name as if she had something big to confess. But then she would say nothing was bothering her and would engulf herself with work, avoiding him. It's not just this. From past weeks, he noticed she had been waking up during midnights from her sleep while drenched in sweat. Then she would go to washroom to take long showers. He didn't disturb her during those times, thinking she must have become too much involved in her NGO case and started to see that case in her dream too. But now it's happening with her for a long period of time. Today I won't let her avoid my questions. Her behavior is becoming too much concerning for me. He got up and headed towards the balcony where she was standing. He was about to call her but saw her losing her consciousness. Why? His eyes widened and he hurriedly took her in his embrace before she could touch the ground. Why? Open your eyes, honey. Seeing her unconscious, he took her to their bedroom and called a doctor home. Taehyung was caressing Wyan's hand, who was laying on the bed while still being unconscious. Doctor was taking her up. What happened to you, love? That moment he felt her staring a little, indicating she regained her consciousness. She then opened her eyes only to see her husband sitting beside her, whereas a doctor was examining her. Did you get your periods yet, Mrs.? Hearing his question, Wyan looked away from Taehyung and shook her head. After seeing your pulse beat and other symptoms, looks like you are pregnant, Mrs. He smiled, saying this to them. Taehyung's grip on Wyan's had tightened, whereas she didn't hold him. I think you are mistaken, doctor. This can't happen. I have been doing this for more than 15 years, sir. I am confident. Still, you can use a pregnancy test kit to ensure it. Taehyung was about to say something else too, but he noticed how Wyan was silent and not looking at him. Like a thunderstormy realization hit him. Now he understood everything clearly. He fished his palm and said to the doctor, "Thank you for coming here." The doctor nodded and took his clue to take leave from there. Once the doctor left, Taehyung began to ask questions to her. This is the reason for your strange behavior since past weeks, right? You knew beforehand that you were expecting. You deliberately kept me in dark. His voice was dangerously cold. He was breathing heavily due to trying to suppress the anger he was feeling that moment. She didn't look at him though, nor did she say any word. This cannot be my child because I am infertile. Plus, I am sure if by any miracle you had become pregnant by my child, you would announce this news to everyone happily. But look, you are so silent. Sitting outside the OT, Taehyung restlessly looked at the door as doctors took her there some times ago. His hands and lips were trembling badly. That moment, Taehyung remembered the paper he found in Wang's fist when he was taking her to hospital. He placed his hand in his pocket and pulled out the paper. He opened the paper and noticed it was a handwritten letter by Wang. He started to read it. Dear Taehyung, you must be thinking I have committed infidelity and the result of that is now in my home. Trust me, Taehyung, it's not the truth. After meeting you, after marrying you, there wasn't any other man in my life. It was all you. Even after knowing about your infertility, being with other men never came to my mind. Not even in my dreams. I was content with you, with us. We were planning to adopt so soon too. But then we told our parents about this, and they were devastated hearing about your infertility. They were not very happy either when we shared that we wanna adopt. Still, everything was going normal. You remember, Taehyung, more than a month ago you had to go for business trip for 10 days. That time I stayed behind because of my NGO work. Didn't you complain that time, stating why I didn't call you even once during that trip? I answered I was too busy, plus I got my periods early, so I couldn't call you. It was all lie, Taehyung, all lie. During those days, I didn't even go out of our house. Your father was here. He didn't let me, Taehyung. I don't know how, but he knew I was ovulating that time. So he forced himself on me, again and again, saying he won't let us ruin Kim's lineage. Only Kim should be our family's new generation, not another man's. I begged him, scratched him, kicked him, pleaded him, but he didn't stop. He kept saying he is doing this for our family only. I should happily cooperate with him. He even said we don't need to say truth to you. When I would be expecting, I should say the child is yours only. You must be thinking I am saying rubbish just to claim myself innocent. I don't blame you for this thinking. After all, I am stating your father had committed the most hideous crime without any guilt. On top of that, I don't have any proof. As I said, he didn't let me go out of house, so I couldn't go to hospital to get a proof that I was forced into intimacy. There wasn't any camera recording too. He gave holidays to our guards too. Only his trusted men were there. Even the doctor who treated me when I passed out was also his man. I have no proof against him. Taehyung, nothing. For more than 3 weeks I am burning more than 3 weeks. I tried to tell you many times, many, but every time I stopped myself, fearing to see your accusation-filled eyes, fearing he would prove that I seduced him, fearing you would believe that I had affair with your father. I know I am backing off without any fight, but I am being pathetic right now. But I tried to gather myself during past weeks. But every time I found myself slipping into darkness, hollowness, I started to feel choked, unheard. How could he did that to me? I used to call him dad, Taehyung dad. Used to give him same respect I do to my own father. Didn't he used to say me and you are equal to him? He loves me like his own daughter rather than daughter-in-law. Then how could he degrade me to nothing but a breeding machine? How could he taint the sacred relation between father and daughter? I work with NGO who helps victims. I never knew I would myself become one of them. And I am not strong enough to overcome the nightmares I am getting every day. I don't have the mental strength to face our families, other people when they would ask me questions. Plus, I don't want to bring this child into this world. So, like a coward person, I am pacifying myself. Instead of proving my truth to everyone, if you ever can, then please forgive me for my cowardly act, for not saying everything to you directly, for writing this letter. Yours, only yours, pathetic Vian. Rage, hurt, anger, helplessness, incapability. So many emotions he was feeling after reading his wife's letter to him. His hold on the paper tightened as his eyes became red. That moment the doctor came out of the OT, Taehyung immediately stood up. How's she? Sorry, Mr. Kim, we couldn't save her. She was too much. Plus, she wasn't responding to our treatments either. She didn't any have will to. She sympathetically gazed at Taehyung, feeling sorry for this young man who just lost his wife, according to her, his unborn child too. Taehyung looked down, probably hiding his tears from outside world. Then she heard his small yet firm voice. Can you do a DNA test of the fetus? The doctor knitted her brows together, hearing his question. I want to do a postmortem too. Few years later. Sitting beside Vian's grave, Taehyung was gently caressing the white rose, her favorite flower he had brought for her. His lips were adorned with a small smile. Today I have given the last strike to my father. He is now stripped of his power, position, dignity, money, everything. He doesn't have anything with him, love, anything. He picked me like you did years ago, love, but just like him, I also didn't listen to his pleadings. I have snatched every single thing which was dear to him. Then I have sent him behind the bars. I will make sure that he won't stay peacefully there too. You were listening right, love. I wish you are. And I hope you have forgiven me too for the words I have said in anger without analyzing your situation. That moment he felt the wind blowing a little more, causing his head to flow upwards. It seemed as if the air was bearing her answer.